We are joined by Trita Parsi. He's the president of the National Iranian-American Council. Welcome back to the broadcast.
Thank you for having me.
The Saudi government knew there would be worldwide backlash for Sheikh al-Nimr's execution. Was the alleged crime, terrorism, so significant in their eyes that they were willing to endure the protests?
Well, as you said, the Saudi government knew absolutely that this would spark outrage throughout the region and that it would already put additional strains on an already very, very tense relationship that they have with Iran. So the question is, did they do this precisely because they wanted to escalate tensions? There is one school of thought that believes that the Saudis are seeing the geopolitical situation in the region move in the opposite direction of what they want, and that they actually need a couple of crises in order to be able to change the trajectory of the geopolitical developments. We don't know for certain if that's the case, but no one can say that the Saudis can be taken by surprise by the protests.
Is the uproar really about the execution, or does the run deeper between the Shias and the Sunnis?
Well, I mean, this is a measure that certainly adds to already increasing Sunni-Shia tensions. But I think more than anything else, this was seen as a major provocation. The gentleman had been on death row for some time, but there had been numerous appeals by various countries friendly to Saudi Arabia, asking them not to do this. And then rather surprisingly, right after the end of 2015, they decide to execute him. So it's difficult to say that the Saudis did not know that this would happen. It's difficult to say that the Saudis would not want to already cut their ties with Iran, because the United States had been having to push Saudi Arabia really hard to get Saudi to come to the negotiating table over Syria. And the Saudis did not want to be there as long as Iran was there.
I see. Sheikh al-Nimr was willing to publicly criticize the government in his call for free elections in Saudi Arabia. In the wake of his death, do you feel like his message will be silenced? Will anyone carry it on?
Well, if you take a look at how these things have developed in the past in the region, oftentimes the outcome is actually the opposite. Once you actually execute a very prominent dissident, rather than that voice being silenced, it's oftentimes the opposite that happens. They become martyrized, they become idolized, and their message actually tends to become much, much stronger. So this may have been a similar miscalculation by the Saudi side as it's been when others have executed or put in exile their dissidents and only had to deal with them becoming much, much more stronger and much more potent.
Well, Iran's Shia leadership had warned that that executing the sheikh would cost the Saudi royal family dearly. They publicly said this. So what is the future for the kingdom in Iran now? Does it just remain to be seen?
Well, already it was going in the wrong direction. Efforts to try to improve relations, some diplomatic outreach had so far not been particularly successful. There also seems to be two schools of thought inside of the Saudi government itself. One that believes that some form of a softer diplomacy is needed and some sort of a dialogue with Iran is needed, and one who believes that actually driving this towards some confrontation is in Saudi's interest. So the execution may have been taken hostage by that power struggle within the Saudi regime itself.
Sheikh al-Nimr knew what was going to happen, obviously. He knew when he took on the Saudi royals, and some are saying that Iran really, pushed him into this.
We don't know that for certain if that's the case or not, but the Saudi government accuses anyone, particularly any Shia in the country that is protesting what everyone recognizes a rather sad situation for the Shias in the country, of having been supported or getting orders from Iran. Whether it's true or not, we don't know. We've seen some of the WikiLeaks American cables and their conversations with him in which he insisted to the Americans that he's distancing himself from Iran. But again, we don't know, but perception becomes reality in these situations.
Well, Trita Parsi, always great to have you. Thank you, President of the National Iranian-American Council.